Welcome back to the Playdate by Freshly Picked. I'm your host, Kaitlin Hansen.
And I'm Allie Theurer.
Allie, super excited to have you here. Just so everybody knows, Allie is one of my BFFs, and I dragged her on the podcast today to share one of her birth stories, and we're super happy to have her.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, well, just to start, since it's your first time, let's have you just introduce yourself.
So I am Allie. I am a mom of 6, ages ranging from 16 to 4. I have 5 boys and 1 girl. I am an advocate for working out for your mental health as a mom. And if you ask any of my friends or my family, I always have an energy drink in hand.
Oh, yeah. You're like the definition of a drink girl. Like all kinds of drinks.
Lines of drinks.
Yeah. And you always know the new hot drinks too.
I will find any drink. I will go out of my way to find it. I'll drive all over the valley, whatever it takes.
Yeah. No, I like it. So, I've tried all of the drinks that you've recommended.
All the monsters.
Oh, I love the monsters. Especially that white one that she's got sitting on the floor. And I love the pink one. What one's that? The Strawberry Dream? Is that
Strawberry.
What it is?
It keeps us going.
Yeah.
Keeps us moms fueled.
Yeah. Love Monster.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. So we're going to talk about your birth story. One of them.
Yes.
Because you have quite a few.
I have lots to share. We have lots of content. Yeah.
No, that's fun. So which one are you going to share?
So my second son, Madden, who was born in 2017.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's start from the top then. Did you go into labor? Did you get induced? How did that go?
So my first 3 boys are actually really close in age. They're each 10 months apart. So I had my first son, Liam, and then I was 6 weeks postpartum and I found out I was pregnant with Madden. So they already considered that like not high risk, but I was considered like, we need to keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
I went into preterm labor at 32 weeks.
Hey, wait, I didn't even know this.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah, so I went into preterm labor with Madden at 32 weeks, and they were able to stop my labor up until I was 34 weeks and 4 days.
Okay.
Then I was doing fine. Everything was great. It was actually Labor Day, and we were at my in-laws swimming. And I just wasn't feeling great that day. And we got out of the car, and all of a sudden I was like, something's not right. It was still hot outside, and I started having really bad pain. I thought I was in labor, but like it was intensifying so quickly that I was like, what is going on? My husband took the rest of the kids to the pool at my in-laws, and I was like, I'm just going to hang out. Well, it got so bad so quickly that I was actually crawling on the cement outside.
Oh, my gosh.
And Danny, my husband, came out, and he was like, we got to go. Like something's wrong. I called my mom, and my mom was like, I'll come right now. My mom is the slowest driver in America. I'm like, you actually are not qualified to have a driver's license, ma'am. So anyway, she picks me up, and I'm like, crawling, and I'm like had like air blasting in my face, and I was like, step on it now, like get me there. And we were in North Salt Lake, and we had to go to 53rd to IHC. So anyways, we get there, they get me into labor and delivery, and I'm like, I'm for sure in labor, like this is happening today. And all I remember is I ripped the gown off of me, and I was hunched over the bed. And the nurse comes in, and she's like, honey, you're not in labor. And I'm like, oh, well, what am I? Because I'm about to rip someone's head off.
Right.
And she's like, you actually have kidney stones.
Oh, my gosh.
And so she's like, we need to go take imaging, and we'll come back. And right then, Danny, my husband, got there, and he's like, honey, I'm here. And I'm like, don't touch me. Like, it was terrible. So they take me into imaging, and they're like, we actually can't see where the stone is at. The baby's now so big that like we can't see like where it's blocked at.
Wonderful.
So my options were to wait until after I delivered him, which I will tell you, if you've ever had kidney stones, which it has, it is worse than delivering a baby.
And like during pregnancy too, that should be illegal.
So what was happening is Madden was in my belly and he was obviously too big. He was blocking it and he would sit and kick my ureter.
Oh my gosh.
So then it was just like that pain that comes and goes, but it was like I felt like I was in labor. So anyways.
That like actually happened to me where I got a kidney stone while I was pregnant and I thought I was in labor too.
Like it's terrible.
Yeah.
So we had to make the choice of either I waited out wait till after I deliver him.
Oh gosh.
Or they take me into emergency surgery to see where it was blocked.
Yeah.
We made the decision that it was probably safer for me and for Madden if I went into surgery then. I had hit 35 weeks, so I knew at that point he would potentially be in the NICU. They gave me the shots to mature his lungs, and there was that potential of him being in the NICU because he was early, but I didn't think I could go much longer with
that sounds terrible.
They had to get it out. Like there was just no other way.
Well, and when you're pregnant, there's like not a lot that they can do for the kidney stones. No. Like it's not like that they can full-blown give you the same type of stuff.
Well, and I think the care is even different. Like you can't, obviously there's certain medications that you can't have. Like there's no way to like really control that pain for that amount of time.
Yeah.
So I felt like regardless, I was going to have to go into surgery.
Right.
One way or another. And I wouldn't last until Madden was born.
No.
So we made the decision for me to go into surgery. Because I was so far along, there was a chance. Now looking back, I'm like, wow, that's scary. But we had to sign, me and Danny both had to sign a waiver that the baby could pass away and that I could pass away.
Oh, gosh.
Because the risk was very high.
Yeah.
But I was in so much pain that I was like, I will literally do anything.
Yeah.
So anyways, they take me back to surgery. They do what's called lithotripsy.
Mm-hmm.
They break up the stone. It was an 8-millimeter stone.
That's big. That's big for the record.
And my husband has a picture of it, but like they pulled it. It blasts into pieces when they do that because it's obviously too big for me to pass. But yeah, it's basically just like a rock.
And just like jagged.
Yeah, like that's why it hurts on and off is because when it moves, it's hitting the sides and it's like crystallized.
Just like a little chunk of glass.
Yeah. So anyways, I have the surgery done.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay, we're going to release you. Like you're not in active labor. And I'm like, okay, I can go recover at home. It'll be fine. They also put a stent in your ureter, which basically keeps it open.
So that the rest of the little particles and things can
come
pass.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a stent in. Madden's still in my belly. I go home. My mom stays with me and my other kids. And my husband goes to work. We're 2 days in and he's at work. And he's a dentist, so he can't just like up and leave his patients. And I'm crawling on the floor again.
Oh my gosh.
And my mom's like, you need to come home. Something's wrong with her. Like, you need to get her to the hospital. So he comes and picks me up. We go to labor and delivery. They tell me I have to be checked in by the ER first. So I'm at the ER waiting. They're checking me in the ER, but they're like, you really should be in labor and delivery. It was kind of this back and forth.
A runaround.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want.
Yeah. So they finally admit me to labor and delivery. I am having contractions, but they're not like 100% consistent. They're like, you either have an infection from the surgery or there's something going on. So because I was so far along, they kept me there for 2 days and monitored me. But they wanted to have me on pain meds. And I said, I will only do that if he is consistently monitored.
Yeah.
So they kept me monitored for 2 days, gave me medication to slow down my contraction. But I was in so much pain that like I was just on a drip system of Dilaudid.
Yeah.
And
the good stuff.
Yeah. And I was more nervous for Madden than I was for myself, but I was in so much pain that I was like, I'll do anything.
I had morphine when I was pregnant because of my kidney stones. And I'm like, I'm glad that I did. And I didn't like distress my baby more.
Well, and that's the thing is I think at the end of the day, you don't realize, but you're actually causing more harm to your baby when your body is in such distress.
Totally.
So finally they get my contractions calmed down. I'm feeling okay. And the doctor comes in and he's like, I'm actually feeling good about this. Like, let's discharge you. I'm like, okay, that's great. I would rather be at home anyway.
Right.
So I'm feeling fine. They're writing up all the paperwork but I'm still being monitored. And the nurse comes in and she's like, are you feeling that? And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. But like, I don't know if it's like pain from surgery or if like he's kicking me, because then what was going on is because I had that stent in and he was so low, he would sit and kick the stent.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, yeah, I mean, I can feel it. But like at this point, I don't know what pain is what.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I'm actually going to check you and see like if you're dilated any further. And so she checks me and she's like, you're not going anywhere. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're dilated to a 6.
Wonderful.
We're having a baby. And so I was very nervous because now at that point, I was 35 weeks.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I had never dealt with a baby in the NICU.
Right.
They said there's not a 100% chance, but it is likely because they don't have like that suck swallowing technique down for eating. But at this point, there was nothing else we could do to stop it.
Right.
So I labor, I get all ready to go, I get gowned up. My doctor actually, Dr. Terry, who was absolutely amazing.
An angel.
Yeah, delivered so many babies in the Valley, who passed away a couple of years ago. He was actually in St. George. So he had just had a new doctor come on. His name's Dr. Pearson. Shout out to him. He's amazing. But it was like one of the first babies that he was going to be delivering like in the practice.
Oh my gosh.
So he comes in and he's like, hey, I'm Dr. Pearson. I'm going to be delivering your baby. And I was like, great. That's great.
Yeah.
And he's like, we have a resident. Do you care if he comes in? I'm like, anyone and everyone can see me.
Yeah.
I don't care at this point.
I feel like you lose I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, anybody could come take a peek and I don't care.
Yeah. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm like, yeah, he can be in here. And so we were waiting. I finally dilate all the way. We're waiting for my mom to come. And my mom comes walking in and she's like, where's the doctor? And he's like, oh, I'm right here. And she's like, you're not the doctor. And he was like, yeah, I am, because he looked so young.
Yeah.
So he comes in, the resident's gowning up, and he was so nervous that my husband had to help him gown up because he was so nervous. Like he was like, I don't know what to expect.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, I didn't labor for that long with Madden. He came out at 35 weeks, 6 pounds, 11 ounces.
That's like a really good sized baby. Like they probably had your due date wrong.
Yeah, he was very chunky and cute.
Yeah.
So he comes out. He is like immediately eating.
Great.
But he, once again, didn't have that suck swallowing technique down. So they were like, we need to take him to the NICU. And I'm like, he's a big baby. Why? Like, why are you taking him from me? And it was all new territory for me. So I deliver. They take him away to the NICU. He never had to be on oxygen or anything, luckily. He came home after 7 days. He was just this chunky little man. But yeah, once I delivered him, I was like on my second day getting ready to go home. And when your uterus starts contracting down, obviously it's painful in itself. But I delivered Madden with the stent in after surgery.
Oh, wow.
So the stent was in place, but then I delivered Madden on top of it.
Yeah.
So my uterus was contracting down, which in return was contracting down the stent.
Oh my gosh, ouch.
And I was crawling on the floor of the disgusting hospital because I was in so much pain. And they were like, we don't know what to do. Like, we don't know if we take the stent out early because you're supposed to have it for a full 7 days.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know if we should take it out or what we should do. And I thought I would never feel better. Like, I was just like, this is just how
That's
it's gonna
so
be.
miserable.
Yeah. So anyways, they ended up keeping it in. We were able to get the pain under control. And once the stent came out, it was fine. Madden came home after 7 days. Honestly, my recovery felt like a breeze.
Okay. Yeah. That was going to be my next question was like, how was your recovery? Because you did have like 2 things that you were recovering from.
So my recovery felt like a breeze because I felt like I was in pain for so long.
Yeah.
That at that point, I was like, you know what? I am human again.
Yeah. You're like, I feel like I could run a marathon.
Yeah. Like, I'm like,
maybe not that far, but
I'm not pregnant. I am not dealing with kidney stones. So I felt great.
Good.
Like, people are like, you're walking around here in the NICU? And I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I'm good.
Yeah.
People are like, how are you already up and moving? And I felt like a new person.
Yeah. Well, I think like when you feel like crap for so long and then all of a sudden you like feel normal, I think it gives you like an extra boost.
Yeah. And pregnancy, as we all know, is a wild journey. And
it is.
You go through all of that and then you're like, you do it again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And
it's like you sign up for it again.
Yeah. And you forget about how hard it was. And you are just like, I'm doing it again.
Oh, 100%.
Because you love those babies.
We love the babes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me about the mom you hope to be.
The mom I hope to be. I think as I've gotten older, this has become more apparent to me that I need to take care of myself so that I can better take care of my kids. Having 6 kids, my life is obviously very chaotic. I felt like being a mom was the only thing that I had to offer, and it was my only obligation. As my kids have grown up, I have realized that I have to fill my own cup so that I can fill theirs and be the best version of myself for my kids.
Okay. No, I love that. Yeah. And that's such incredible advice. I always love that thing where it's like, you got to put on your oxygen mask first.
100%. And that's easier said than done because we get so caught up in taking care of these little people that rely on us. And, you know, like our spouses, we want to put them first and we want to put our children first. But at the end of the day, I think it's very important to make sure that we're prioritizing ourselves as well so that we can be the best mom.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would do differently with that delivery? Like if you could like go back in time? And I guess like a lot of it was out of your control. So I'm like, you know.
I mean, yes, a lot of it was out of my control. This goes along with all of my babies and all of my deliveries. Everyone says like, enjoy the moment and enjoy the process. I think we're so caught up in like when pregnancy's hard, we just want it to be over.
Yeah.
And it seems like so long ago that I was like pregnant and having babies. And I'm like, you miss that. Like, and you don't get that back. Yeah. And as hard as it is in the moment, like really do try to embrace it and enjoy it and be present because I thought having newborns and toddlers was hard. And I'm here to tell you that having teenagers and preteens, rough.
Bigger kids, bigger problems.
100%. So I would just say like in any pregnancy, just try to be present and enjoy that time because you don't know if you'll get that opportunity again, A, and B, like it really is gone. 9 months goes by so incredibly fast.
Oh, totally. Especially in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like it really is a brief stint.
100%.
What advice would you give somebody that is about to have a baby?
I would say go into it with no expectations. Like in my situation, it was out of my control and you will do absolutely anything to get your baby here safely.
Yeah.
Whatever that may look like. And so I would just say have no expectations.
I think that's incredible advice. And that would be mine too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.